Do you know of a stellar leader or an outstanding organization that deserves a proper shout-out? Nominate them for IBJ's awards. From 40 in their 40s and Women of Influence to Nonprofit and Healthcare Excellence Awards, we're celebrating rising stars, seasoned leaders, and organizations making a difference. Discover which programs are accepting nominations now at ibj.com/nominate.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. Microsoft's plans for a $1 billion data center and 200 jobs in LaPorte expected to come into better focus this morning. Microsoft officials to join LaPorte Mayor Tom Dermody to provide what is being described as an important financial update on the project, and we'll have details first at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Indiana University Health and the Indiana University Health Foundation are celebrating what they're calling a transformational gift from Bloomington philanthropists Connie and Steve Ferguson. It will be used to expand nursing education at Ivy Tech Community College Bloomington, ultimately increasing the number of nurses who can be trained and expand clinical opportunities across the health system's South region. New food and retail options are coming to South Bend International Airport. The airport's board approving a new master concession agreement with South Dakota-based Skydine, which plans to bring full-service dining to the airport, as well as Jimmy John's and Dunkin' Donuts locations in the concourse. That according to Airport Marketing VP Julie Curtis.
As the first and last impression for travelers to our region, we determined that it was time for us to be able to reimagine and expand the concession operations at South Bend International Airport.
From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader. The ACLU of Indiana is suing leaders of Ball State University, arguing a provision of the university's expressive activity policy violates students' First Amendment rights, as does the use of campus rules to punish students who allegedly violate the policy.
The ACLU filed 2 lawsuits Monday against multiple members of university leadership on behalf of nearly a dozen students involved in a late November 2025 incident. Both of the lawsuits name President Jeffrey Mearns and Director of the Office of Student Conduct, Kaylee Richardson. According to the lawsuits, the students visited the campus administration building during normal business hours to leave notes for Mearns expressing their concerns regarding the university's financial ties to Israel. When they arrived at the building, they were initially told to leave, but were subsequently allowed to stay in a hallway outside the president's office to write the notes. When the building closed at 5 p.m., the students all left, according to the lawsuit. However, the students were all later found to have violated 2 university policies, one prohibiting protests or demonstrations within 50 feet of most campus buildings, and the other requiring students to comply with directives from university officials. According to the lawsuits, the students received a range of disciplinary sanctions. The ACLU argues that both the 50-foot policy and failure to comply provision violate the First and 14th Amendments. The organization argues that the university's decision to take disciplinary actions against students for engaging in expressive activity that did not disrupt university operations also violates the First Amendment. A Ball State spokesperson said the university does not comment on pending litigation. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A West Lafayette-based life sciences diagnostic company has received another key accreditation as it nears closer to the commercial distribution of its early detection test for pancreatic cancer. Amplified Sciences co-founder and CEO Diana Caldwell says accreditation by the College of American Pathologists marks a critical milestone in the commercial development of PanCys Pro, its proprietary early detection test for pancreatic cancer. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand.
Off the Record with Indiana's 250 most influential business and community leaders is a podcast that peels back the curtain on Indiana's most respected leaders, one episode at a time. Go beyond the headlines and hear the stories of grit and innovation that shape these leaders. Do you want to know who's driving our state forward? This is a must listen. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts or at ibjpodcast.com.
The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state. Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.